Okay, legends, welcome back to the channel with another Overlord, Lord of Nazarick video. In this video, we'll be talking about the tier list and we're gonna update it. And now it's gonna be updated to the meta that you're gonna be looking at, and not too many changes will happen. I will start dropping units from their positions that are they used now, and they would gonna be going to lower tiers, and we're gonna do a massive change here. This meta will be defined slowly, and you're gonna see a little bit of changes every time a new character drops into the game or new characters drop into the game. That is the good units are being released, especially with having Mask Shaltir, and we're having the Yaldabaoth now into the game. This will define the meta from now on going into the game in the future. So many things will be changing right now. I'm gonna be making a little bit of changes, and in the future I will not be even considering to put the SR units here, since we're gonna go and focus on the SSRs. I'm gonna make a special tier list for SR characters so you can understand where you can use them. I will also drop one R character that is especially noticeable, or just to mention it because it works a little bit. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Hilma, not other than that. Now we're gonna start. I'm gonna tweak this. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna go with it, because some stuff need to be changed and some stuff need to be staying the same. So first of all, the C and the D ranks, we're gonna go to put good and not good, okay? And this will be specific to the SR faction, and we're gonna put the only noticeable and the units that we should mention in the SR category, and then we're gonna be talking about everybody else in their respective positions. Okay, so first of all, the good characters that you might use or might help you. We don't care about speed. I'm not gonna talk about speed. I'm gonna go and talk about the SR characters that are having a function that would help you into the game, and you might maybe use them early game to mid game, maybe late game. You can keep them and just use them as a replacement for a new unit that will come in the future, especially for those units that have double lives, or they can tank, or they can go and support you in any content. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about that. Yes, I'm not gonna put in A or anything except special units that are really helpful in the game. Now, any unit that is only specific to Monster Hunt and that will not help you in any other position or any aspect in the game in the future, I'm not gonna mention it as well. I'm gonna put it in not good for you not to build it, because in Monster Hunt you can pick a unit and they will max it out with the skills, and if you have stars on it or if you have their arc light, then you're gonna be using it, and that's it. Okay, so we're gonna be talking here about the units. So Lucret will go to not good. Do not build him. I know the adventure team, you love the adventure team and everything like that. Do not build him. He's not useful. If you want to play also Clementine, I know early game, oh, she helps, she's a lot speedy and stuff like that. In the late game and the mid game, you don't care, especially in PvE or PvP, they're not usable at all. Ninth as well, you can use him only on Monster Hunt, and in Monster Hunt he will be good because he will be maxed on his skills. You're not gonna max him for his skills to use him on anything else, especially even in many people were asking me about Treasury. You will not be using him in Treasury. Maybe early game we did use him in one boss and that's it. And Inferior also will drop here. You're not gonna use him. Do not build these characters. Also Jigem, I know he's great, but do not use him. These characters that I'm saying good, you can build them early game. If you started the game and you don't have units, you can keep them. You don't want to reset them. You can keep them as is. You might use them as a fodder in the future. That's okay. Peter goes good with the adventure team. That's the only why I'm keeping him here and not dropping him. Beyond that, these also characters are absolutely usable. You can use them early game. If you don't want to reset them, you can keep them. They're really helpful. These are the units that I would say that goes here. Now for B rank is the units that if you build them, do not reset them. You might keep using them until the meta completely change and we get characters that you will never depend on these characters and use them at all. Now Hamsky will stay at A, will never drop. We're gonna talk about Henry. Henry is one of the units that is super technical usage. For me, I'm biased to her. I want to keep her at A, but I'm not gonna lie to you or sugarcoat it or anything. She's a unit that you will not use in the future, but for PvE content, for PvP content, she still works until today. She stuns with her passive if you got her arc light, with her passive as well, so she have more chances. It goes up to 80% or something like that. She buffs with the most ridiculous buff in the game, which is damage reduction down on or damage reduction buff on all of your lineup with her ultimate if you max her out. Plus she buffs her at the attack, and she heals almost every turn with her goblin. If she doesn't stun, she buff you in attack as well, which is really great. Sustainable, usable character that sometimes come in clutch, and you see many videos and you can check the VODs on many streams of mine. Gagaran also will stay at B. Why? until now for the meta because of the counter team being so strong. We don't have the one-shot team, we don't have Zeshi, we don't have Samsuke, we do not tank ZZ, we don't have Victim, we don't have anybody of the great units that are waiting for that came in. So he can or she can stay as a unit that will be sustaining everything, and she will be great. Until now, you can use her. Now, if you're free to play and you're like, oh, the whales max her and she's killing our teams, and you want to replicate the same, remember that the whales are investing a lot on her arc light, on her skills, on everything, and you want to reset these characters in the future. You're never going to use them. Even whales right now are not using her. Maybe who built her just kept her on the side, and if somebody get banned, they troll you and play this unit against you and they can win you, or if they know that you are weaker than them. This is what we're gonna be talking about, the good and not good. These are the good characters. The not good characters, do not build them. If you're thinking about Monster Hunt, like for Jugem and for Ninth in specific, because they are super insanely good in Monster Hunt, you can use them without even leveling them up because they're gonna give you all the levels on the characters. These other characters are good. If you build them, you can keep them, but I highly recommend everybody from good and not good as an SR to just reset them. These the 3 units that you might not reset, plus Yuri, she will be in S, and you have Brain will never gonna remove him until the meta completely shifts, and you're not gonna be using that. Even on China, some of the players are still using him. They built him and they kept him and still using him. This is how good he is with the counter team. He buffs everybody counters, and he does good amount of damage, plus he does attack down before your enemies start their attack. He starts before them. This is why he's super good. He enables the counter team. Everybody revolves around him. Now you might tell me, if we use the ultimate of Isekai, we enable also counter on the lineup. Exactly, but not as the same percentages as Brain. Brain allows everybody, plus his second or his ultimate, when he uses it, he gives them another buff. So with them both together, everybody counters on your lineup, and this is what you want to do, specifically because the best meta right now is still the counter meta until we have changes, and we're getting the changes a little bit by little bit. Now, before I drop anybody here, I just want to tell you, from now on, we're going to be talking about the meta lineups that are coming, especially for PvP and PvE, that goes good together. So any unit that is not on tier 0, it means somewhere in PvP she's lacking, or he's lacking, or in PvE they are lacking, okay? So we're going to be putting the units here that are be using in PvE and PvP as well. Okay, now that this is out of the way, we'll be talking about the units, and we're gonna drop one unit specifically from the tier 0 straight up to S rank. Now I'm gonna put her in SS so far, which is Maiden Love Albedo. Again, if you have her, or if she's there for you to summon, or if you have her, just keep her there. She would help you. She's a good replacement. She's a great unit in PvE, in bossing, but in PvP she's not that good. She's a glass cannon, she dies immediately. Even with protection, she does not go so well, and she does not do anything other than the follow-up with the assist. If you're protecting, or if you're having shield or damage mitigation, you need something to bypass. This is why we're using Momon, and Momon comes better than her. I would say Momon is still better than her, and Momon is better than Aura. Aura is on the same level. Maybe she's better than Aura a little bit. Still, Aura can tank a little bit more, and the weakness gives her a reliable source of chasing. She's unlimited. She goes and ultimately chase indefinitely, so she does not stop until you stun her or something like that. So this is why she drops Maiden Love Albedo. Yes, from tier 0. Tier 0, I'm saying as a limited character, I can still put her on SS. I'm not gonna be lying or sugarcoating anything. Even Negredo goes better than her in PvP. This is why Negredo is shining right now, and people are just doing good amount of numbers with her, especially if she's masked. She silenced, she chases, or she goes and attack the people that are gazed upon, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, again, she is a great unit, Maiden Love Albedo. She's nice, she's a limited character, but she's not the character that would go in PvP specifically and help you. Nobody uses her in PvP. We did use her, especially if you're a whale. Even whales are having troubles. They're winning their fights, but in the end, she's dying because she's not that tanky. She has low stats on HP, defense, and magical defense. Still, one of the good units that you can play in any boss. In bossing, she's absolutely fantastic. In Monster Hunt, she's absolutely fantastic. And especially if you're playing a Realm of Shadow, she's also good there. You can use her there. So in PvE, she's really good. Also, you can use her in Treasury, which will help you a lot. But other than that, you're not gonna see her a lot. In story mode, of course, you can use any character. If you put our characters, they can help you bypass these stages. Now, this also will sadden you a little bit by talking about this unit, which is Demiurge. Demiurge drops to the A. He's strictly good for PvE content. In PvP, you might still use him, but all the cleansing also and the bleed meta came in and deals a lot of damage. As a burn character, burn is the lowest multiplier of damage that you can do as a debuff. So he drops a little bit in PvE. There's a lot of units that gives you shields, that give you cleansing. You're not gonna have all the stacks. He's not gonna stun consistently. Even if you max him at the early game, he was fantastic. One of the best units. He goes same to same with Cocytus. Even Cocytus now is better than him with the new meta that we have in the with the bleed for PvE is doing insane damage just because of Lupus that is dropped, the Commander Lupus in the game. But as PvE goes, for stuns, for sustainability, for damage over time as well, because the enemy might not cleanse, you can use him. But in PvP, he's lacking a lot. Nobody is using him right now. They're dropping him. There's some people that are saying that, oh, he is great, we use him until they go and fight units that will remove, cleanse, or heal and sustain and deal buffs and everything. He only debuff, he stuns, which is make him a decent unit, but not usable in this current meta, and in the future nobody will use him. Trust me, nobody will use him anymore. Nobody will use Cocytus anymore, and these units will drop a lot. Now black is really first seat. Black is really absolutely fantastic. High burst damage, really good. But if you shut him down, if you stun, if you start before, or if he doesn't do whatever he want to do, if he doesn't one shot and with the buff block and everything, he absolutely does nothing. Still a great character. One of my favorite characters. If I'm biased, I would put him in S or SS. But I'll be real with you, these units are not gonna be used anywhere. Hamsky is still for the buff, you can use him for the damages, and this is okay. Now, the new characters that dropped into the game, we have Yaldabaoth, absolutely tier 0 immediately. You're gonna put him in tier 0. You're gonna see that Icy Cocytus is in tier 0 and Valkyrie Shati in tier 0 as the best tanks in the game right now, and they will be for a long time, for a while here, until CZ tank and Hamsky tank comes in. They will be in the top, and these three will drop in the SS rank. Still, Yaldabaoth, I'll be saying in the tier 0, because he goes with every single lineup. There's no lineup in the game that you can't fit him in. You're gonna tell me, but he's bleed. The bleed doesn't matter. We're not talking about bleed. Imagine he doesn't have bleed. We don't use bleed. His ultimate, just give him wings and let him assist you and give you the Congeal. The Congeal skill with his passive is everything for him. He's absolutely a monster of a tank. Keep sustaining him, healing him. He can go with any meta, with the counter, with the AoE team, with any team that you want. He will buff them with that Congeal. You're not gonna take a one-shot from the start, especially if you're gonna go and protect units on your lineup, which makes him one of the best tanks in the game. Probably you're gonna see him in the future being used on every single lineup. You're not gonna ban him just because you're gonna ban the characters that actually enable lineups. He's a tank that is supporting and helping all of your lineup, but you might ban somebody like Zaryusu, you might ban somebody like Idol Shaltir, you might ban somebody like Zeshi in the future, or Victim. These units that actually deals damage, these are the ones that you're gonna focus on. Now we have another unit that is in tier 0, dropped in, and I would say the second best character right now in the game, or the third, depending on your overall looking on it. Now, you can play without Icy Cocytus. She would play on instead of Icy Cocytus on the team, and she will do his job, and not indomitable or giving the heals, but the shields that she gives are massive, plus the buffs that she gives. She's the best buffer in the game right now, hands down. Defensively, offensively, absolutely fantastic, with ER, with EP, with attack and defense, absolutely great. And she gives you the shields. Yes, she can be countered with other units and other metas, but right now she's the best in PvP and PvE. You can say that everybody that were stuck in PvE content progressed. Everybody that had bad lineups in PvP, now they're winning actually tournaments because they have her on their lineup. This is how good this unit is. Now, again, in the future, she might drop a little bit to the SS rank, and other good supports will come and get to the tier 0 instead of her. Still, it's not meaning that she drops a little bit. It means there's a replaceable solution that you can use, especially with Albedo, with Clementine, that will come in the future as a support. But still, she will be in that category, and she will always be usable on these aspects. These units, I'm not gonna change anybody. Yes, Zaryusu will forever stay here because of his freeze mechanic. Yes, you can counter him with a little bit of ER. You can counter him with removing the freeze shenanigans, but still a great unit because he has his Arclight also with Indomitable, and he goes round after round, give you the speed down with his cold stacks, and if he frees you, that's a GG. That's a good run for this lineup. Idol Shaltir, for a while, she will stay here because of the buff block and the damage she did. Absolutely insane amount of of damage. And if she kills, she buffs magical damage, she does everything. This is a soldier that you will use forever. Now, another new unit that dropped into the game that I will be putting here, yes, replacing Mari in the first SS character. Now, I would put her in the tier 0, but this will be unfair if I put her in the tier 0 because she's not a tier 0 character. She's an SS character right now in the meta. Does she deal more damage than Mari? Absolutely, yes. You saw it on my stream. She was 3 stars. Mari is 6 stars. She dealt more damages than him on a bossing stage. She dealt more damages than him in treasury. She dealt more damages. She doesn't heal. She deals insane amount of damages with the stacking of the bleed. Absolutely a monster of a unit for PvE. In PvP, I bet you will see her at the start round for the people who max her at 6 stars. Yet, even if you max her in 6 stars and you have a better lineup, which is, let's say, against counter, she plays on a counter. You play again another counter team that does not have her but have a cleanser. GG, she's not that useful. She does good amount of damages, but she will not help you. Right now, she might look insane in PvP, but in the future, you will barely use her or see her, or nobody actually will see her. But right now, in PvE, she's one of the best units as a damage multiplier unit. Now, again, I want to check this. I will tell you, maybe we can drop, let's say, Evil Eye a little bit to the S rank. Now, she still works with the one-shot meta, but the one-shot meta does not work with the Aldabaoth and Mass Shaltir if you're playing against a lineup against them, and the meta will be changing. And let's put her here also in A. So the meta will be changing and she will not be available in the future, or she will be available, but she will not be usable at all. With a one-shot team, if AoE, we're gonna be using different characters that will come into the game. Absolutely crazy. From Renner, from Zeshi, from Victim. These units will be changing the whole meta for you. Even Dark, Yuri, or Horse, the Horse Rider, Momon. Every character will come with a specific OP individual skill that will allow you to actually one-shot units or enable something on your lineup. For her, she does insane amount of raw damage. She buffs herself with herself. She needs a lot of buffs for her to work. This is why she's not a character that is a good unit to play on a lineup that will buff your team or do something else except dealing damage, and she's a glass cannon. If they target her and kill, she immediately get destroyed. If you don't one-shot your entire enemy with your first round, she's not useful on the long run. Maybe for another round she might do something with her second skill, but other than that, she's not that helpful. Now, Lacus, another great unit. I'll be putting her here. Lacus is absolutely a nice unit. She also counters shields. She plays around damages. She gives shields. She gets shields. Absolutely good unit. The problem with her is she fits now with the counter meta. If you build her in the counter team and you play her, she deals a lot of damage, magical and physical. She's protective towards herself. She buffs herself. But the problem is she will not be that solid unit. I don't want to put her also on SS. I'll put her on S. She's a great unit. She's the start. She's the opener of our eye on the starting of the power creeping in this game, but she will not be as useful as the other characters that will come in the future. In the future, we're gonna drop her to A rank. She's still good right now. She's usable in many aspects of the game, but yet she's not better than everybody else on the S rank. You can play anybody on the S rank and they would work. From Momon, from Nigredo, they absolutely gonna be perfect. Now, we're talking about Pandora's Actor. I put Pandora's Actor here just for you because the meta was like this. He buffs a lot, he heals a lot, plus if you're having Lord of Time Ainz as a leader, he will go specifically good with him. Is he that good to be in the S rank better than everybody else here in the S rank? No. Is he better than the SS? No. Is he better than everybody here? Yes, he is. This is why I put him here. He's a solid option if you built him from the start of the game, but I wouldn't recommend you and tell you just to build him. Many people saw him on S, they told me, okay, we're gonna build him just because you put him here. If you wanna be realistic, I would tell you do not build him. He's a character as a support. He goes here, somewhere like here. Of course, he's 100% better than Penguin. Penguin, do not build him. Even if you max Penguin, he's decent, he's okay, but he will help more in PvP, not in PvE. I wouldn't recommend anybody to build Penguin. I would say, yeah, build him, of course, why not? Better than Penguin. Pandora's Actor really gives you a lot of buffs. This one will give you healing and regeneration and a little bit of ER, maybe cleansing from debuffs a little bit, but you can play Maxim set on Pandora's Actor. Actually, you can't play Maxim set on him because he will deal damage. You can play something else like Alchemy set and it will work on him fine. Yuri, I dropped her to the A rank, not an S rank, because we are depending on her speed. Still the best tank in SR faction. She does a lot. In my opinion, she's even better than Albedo, Knight Albedo. Now, Knight Albedo is great because she has taunt right now. In the future, you're not gonna see anybody ever use her. After releasing like 3 or 4 units in the future, you're not gonna see anybody using her. The taunt mechanic does not work anymore. It has a low chance. You're not gonna be taunting anybody. The only good useful thing that you'll be using her if you have her at 6-star with the shields. In the future, you're not gonna use her. Same with PDL. You're never ever gonna use him or see him in anywhere in PvP especially. You're gonna use them both strictly in PvE. That will help you. She's just for the shields and a little bit of taunt and trying to cheese your way in some PvE content. His wall and shields and cleansing mechanic with his arc light that you'll be using as well. In the future, you're not gonna see them. Of course, Mari is still a king. Crush Lulu right now, absolutely fantastic with the ER reduction and damage mitigation. Goes well with any lineup right now. The other Mari, the healer Mari, absolutely the most toxic healer in the entire game. You can't play debuffs against him. There's simply no debuff in the world that can go and save your lineup. You will not stun him. He will heal everybody with his arc light. He will give you shields. Absolutely toxic healer if you build him, especially if you get him to the 5-star, he shines. Yuri, meta right now, I would put her in tier 0. I don't want to put her in tier 0 because I don't want to force anybody to build her and go for her. Same with Ego Aura, absolutely crazy. They all will drop these lineup in the future, but they will drop not too much, a little bit to the S rank maybe. These all will drop maybe to B rank and they will not be usable in the future. Now, I included this video and I'm talking about every single unit plus the units that came into the game. I will talk slightly about them and just for you to understand if they are good or not, okay? So we have Tia, an SR character that dropped into the game. I'm putting her in RMB. Is she really good, that good, that to put her in B, not on good or not good, to build her or not? Do not build her. If I want to be serious with you, I will tell you just put her in good tier, do not build her. But for the people just like me, I build her, I max her out, I'm using her in every single aspect. Is she good for PvP? Absolutely not. She's a glass cannon. She can be used. We did use her at 6-star max on a counter team. We won against a team that has Yuri as a max, or a team that has different characters, but this is because we were playing a fully whaled lineup, okay? She's good, she's decent. Yes, she has the highest multiplier as an SR character in the game right now. She can one-shot, she's helping in bosses, she's helping in PvP and in PvE. But is she that worth it? No, I would say no. If you want to go and test with her, yes, she has the highest multiplier. Her crit rates are insane. She crits almost all the time and her crit damages are really high. You can use her and put her there. Now, again, Hilma. Many people were telling me, you made the video. You can go and watch back the video that I made about Hilma. Hilma is a one-trick pony, okay? You can use her on one synergy against either Cocytus or against Mari. If you know for sure in PvP, forget her in PvE, you're never gonna use her. Do not build her. We got her to 60, we put on her some speed set and that's it. Even if you get her to 100, you put on her speed set. We don't care about anything else. No enchantments, no nothing. Just fully maxed, get her to speed like 200, 205 and that's it. You don't want anything else. If the enemy applies on your team a dot or a debuff, not Hamski's debuff. Hamski's debuff does not work. Either Cocytus bleed or Mari's seed. If it applies on your lineup, she will get the speed turn meter boost up to 100 and more than 100. It goes to 110 or something like that, and she will be the fastest unit on the lineup. Then you can start, and if you have Eins, you can do the negative burst, reduce their turn meter, plus hit somebody that you have on your lineup that reduces turn meter or something like a seed on the enemy, and then it will explode, give them back in turn meter. Then you can start and deal more damages. Other than that, she's not a good character. She will be never used on anywhere, which saw the cheesy players such as Jojo and other people that created this lineup that Jojo picked it up from, absolutely being smart and cheesing their way, especially in PvP, to that. Only strictly in PvP for one trick, which is countering Mari and Cocytus. Nobody plays Cocytus, they counter Mari with that. If you know 100% for sure that they're playing Mari, you play Hilma against them and you start first and that's it. If you have a burst team that can kill the Mari lineup. If you don't and you start before them, just a waste. You can use anybody else that could help you on the lineup, maybe a tank that could keep you surviving. And that's it mainly for our tier list. Is there any hope for these characters in A rank in the future to go up? Absolutely not. The B rank characters are absolutely gonna stay here Don't build Gazef. If you build him from the past and you're gonna use him in the future, use him until the good characters come. Nobody will use him. Sebas the same. The best character in mind for me as a character in the anime and in the game is Sebas. For me, I love Sebas so much. As you see, he was my profile picture and everything for a long time. But sadly, in the game, he's not good, so he drops here. And yes, I did a video about him being the crit damage master, but he needs a setup of like 5 to 6 rounds until he does something. And this something, he does it, and that's it. If he doesn't kill, he gets shut down. And you need him fully maxed. Gazef the same, he needs the 5-6 rounds to ramp up with everything and start absolutely destroying. Other than that, he's not that good. This is mainly for our tier list, for the updated version of our tier list. Yes, this is how it would look from now until we get different characters. When we get the different good characters, we'll be putting them in their respective places, and other characters will drop a little bit. From now on, we're only gonna have good units and better units than the units that we already have. Not talking about tier 0, talking about SS, S, and A ranks. Yes, we're gonna have better units coming into the game than them. We're not gonna have bad units at all. And yeah, that was it for the video. I'll be seeing you in the next one.